Today we're going to be building a brick pier, or over a couple days we're going to be building a brick pier. And I thought we'd head the step-by-steps of the building of a brick pier and how you start out with it and how you move up. And a couple steps and some things to look for are key. The first key you must have, as always in anything we do, is safety. Please be aware of your surroundings, everything around you. Safety glasses are a must just in case a chipped brick comes into your eye or even some mortar splats in your eye. You want to have safety glasses on. Now, the beginning of a brick pier is, first of all, and probably the most important thing, is to get a dry layout. If you get your dry layout set, it sets you up for the rest of the pier going up. Alright, so the first thing we did was we kind of laid out a little bit of the brick pier and what it's going to look like. More or less get your joints, see how tight your joints are, and just basically get your ground rules for what you're starting to do. Now, what we did is we kind of got a measurement of what these brick piers would be. Now, if you're on the job site and they tell you what those brick piers are going to be, that's what you build them at. But for this one right here, nice tight joints, I think, are a must on a brick pier. You don't want to get bigger joints, because if you get a little bit out of plumb, it just accents those big mortar joints. All right, so I have 20 inches here. So right now the dry layout is basically set for 20 inches. So let's get we'll get the square, and we'll set the high side up here, and we'll hit right off of this corner. Now, Keith, come on and help me. We'll take this corner, take these brick off here. All right, just keep it like that. Don't take them all. At 20 inches off the square, I'm going to make a mark just right on that concrete. Okay, take that one off. And I'm going to mark it right on the wall, right on the floor. Now, what we're going to do now is take this brick, put them back on that spot. Okay? Put that one there. And we're going to continue this going right around. Because if your brick isn't square, you're going to fight that all the way up through the whole process. Just a continuation through it. Now, throw these back on because you want to make sure your bond's correct. Correct? How are we looking? All right. Now, let's take these off. Okay? And let's see how we work out. Right on my 20 inches. Right on there in the 20 inches. Pretty square. All right. Now, as you can see, the base of your pier is laid out pretty much how you're going to lay your brick. Nice joints. Nice joints. Way to start out. And as you can see over here, same deal. Same process was happening. So now they're really set to get rolling and building a properly built brick pier. And this is the right steps in the right direction in succeeding in that task. When we come back next time, I'm going to show you how you'll set the highest end up, set your first brick, get it perfect, and then lay off for the rest of the pier and the proper heights. Now that they got the dry layout, what they did was they marked the bricks where they were coming. So when they're laying the brick, they have a guideline of where to go to. Next, what they did is we're going to you set your first brick first. And what I always tell them is the high side of the concrete or wherever it goes, set it there. Now, what they did was, since these are oversized brick, they ran it on an F joint, on an oversized brick. Now, what I always tell them that first brick, try to get it as perfect as you possibly can, because that brick there will enable you to lay going all the way around. It will set yourself up laying your first brick. So they'll use a little torpedo level like this. You can use your 2/4, whatever it takes, but the little torpedo will be nice in your back pocket. And I'll have them check it this way, and I'll have them check it this way, which they're right on. So the next brick they lay, if they can lay this brick and line it up to the exact height of this and the width where they don't have it like this or this, that'll be a great guide to get this pier up and running. Next time we'll be here, they'll probably have 2 courses on. We'll probably have 2 courses on both of these piers. The steps before we hit you, we told you that they laid that first brick over there and got it plumb, level, and everything else, and then they worked off of those bricks. That's what they did for these first 2 courses. They set that first brick, they had it perfect, and then they ran all the way around, setting up one leg, and when they spread for that one leg, once they got that brick set, so the next course he would do, he would set this next brick like this, lay it on an F or a G joint, because it's an oversized brick, and then they would lay this leg first. Then the next step they would do is level, plumb, and straight edge it, and then work the next step. When we come back, this is a short step to talk about, but when we come back, we're going to have the guys lay that one lead right off the bat, and then I'll show you what their next step will be. Now, the first thing they did, as soon as they started the first part of the pier, was they set this brick, and they took a torpedo, and they leveled it this way and that way. And then they plumbed it, going here and going here to make sure it was right on. Then what they did was now they can continue across. You can see how the slab leg goes right across because they matched this brick with that brick and they worked it around. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to lay this next leg and show you the steps of what we expect and how to do things. First thing we'll do is this brick already. I know they plumbed it. It's good and plumb. And it's nice and level both ways. Now, if you don't have a torpedo, you can always use your 2/4 exactly just the way I showed you. All right? Now, spreading the right amount of mud on one of these, on one of the piers, is such a key. If you spread too much, you will have a tendency of having the brick move around on you and can actually push them off plumb. Full joints. Now, right now, I'm going to line myself and I'm going to see the thickness of that mortar joint and I'm going to try getting it the same way. But as you can see where my position is, it's right over your brick and lining it up. Getting in the right position is key to laying these corners and running the piers. Now, when I'm going to lay this brick, I'm going to look down, and the first thing I'm going to do is my sight line, is as I'm lining it up, my eyes are going right down here to that brick here. And I'm going to try lining that up before I put a level to it. And I'm going to try leveling to the brick I laid here and here, and keeping my joints full. After I'm done with that, after every leg you build, you level, check your plumb over here just to make sure it didn't go anywhere. And that's pretty good. Match it here, level. You plumb at these plumb spots. And make sure they're right on. So you check your plumb here, 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 and here. Once you get them where they're right on, then all you're going to do is straight edge. And all I'm doing here is making sure all these bricks line up from this point A to that point B. If you do that, and then you're going to complete the process going right around. But the key to it is staying in the right position right here and sighting down this spot right here. So when you're laying and that brick is going right here, you're almost plumbing yourself. And you'll just complete this process. You'll complete this process going right around this course. And then you'll start the next course and doing the same thing until you get up to the amount of courses or the height, the correct height that you need. Well, the brick pier continues, and as you can see from my last step, all it is just a continuation of taking the one leg at a time, taking the one leg, making sure that first brick that you lay is level on both ends, and then continuing, going through that leg. And all it is the key to it is keeping that sight line going down from corner to corner until you continue a course, until you complete the course. That's basically the scenario all the way up. Now, he's got about 2 more courses to lay on this. And after he's done with this, we're going to fill this up with material, a block and everything else. And then we're going to put a header to cap this pier off. And as you can see, a dry layout of what a header is going to be looking like will be the next step after he's got about 2 more courses to lay. Before, the last step we did was a dry layout for the header to go across. This is a header where the brick is laid flat and the head of the brick is showing around. So that's just one way of finishing off a brick pier. The first way of how we do it is you get your dry layout and you mark along your brick the spacing for your brick. Once you get that, you take the end brick and you level it both ways, you plumb it, and you straight edge, make sure it's perfect. And go to the other side and do the same. And once you get these 2 bricks, once you get the 2 brick established, the next thing you do is you can throw a line on here, which is what we did here. And then all they did was lay the brick to the line to finish the course. Then you're not having to level and relying on that all the time. Once you get these 2 end brick established and perfect, the next thing you're doing is just putting the line on and running brick to the line. And following your layout all the way through and just keeping the same step. That is a complete process of a brick pier with a header course on the top, from the dry layout to the laying of the first course of brick and running it up level, plumb, and straight edge every corner, and right up to the header where you basically set the end brick first after you do your dry layout and mark, and then run your brick to the line. That's a complete process of a brick pier with the header course on the top.